Today we're taking a look at the YottaMaster Y3000 NVMe PCI Express 3.0 solid-state drive. Thanks to YottaMaster for sending this over for us to take a look at. The Y3000 SSD is a solid mid-range NVMe SSD for gamers and people who just need to upgrade PCs and want a fast drive without breaking the bank. The Y3000 includes an M.2 screw, a screwdriver, and some thermal pads and a small heatsink if your motherboard doesn't have one, which is a nice touch. The Y3000 drive is based on QLC NAND with an SLC cache to help speed up that write performance as well as the endurance. The drive is rated for up to 3100 megabytes per second in terms of sequential read speed and about 1900 megabytes per second in terms of sequential write speed. We're getting an endurance rating of about 300 terabytes written, which seems standard for a modern QLC drive. The Y3000 carries a 5-year warranty as well, which is definitely something that I like to see. In terms of the specs versus the cost for this SSD, I think we're in good shape for a value pick here. Of course, I did have to test this drive with Crystal Disk Mark 8 in order to get a better idea of real-world performance. I installed Windows directly onto the SSD, so it is serving as the operating system drive. I ran 3 different test scenarios, a relatively empty scenario, and then I filled the drive up to about 55% utilization, and then again at about 80% utilization to get an idea of the performance after you've settled in with the SSD and you have all your games, your programs, files, and whatever else stored on your PC. For the first test, the relatively empty test, we saw about 3400 megabytes per second sequential read and about 2400 megabytes per second sequential write, which is actually a little bit better than advertised. Definitely happy to see that. When I reran the benchmark at about 55% storage utilization, the drive achieved about 3400 megabytes per second sequential read again, and just a touch under 2400 megabytes sequential write. As for the last test, I filled the drive to 83% and then retested again. Again, surprisingly, I saw 3400 megabytes per second sequential read and about 2400 megabytes per second sequential write. This is really some solid performance, especially for a QLC drive as it begins to fill up. The SLC caching and the firmware algorithm on this drive are really doing a good job of maintaining performance as the utilization goes up, which is definitely going to matter as you use your computer more and more. At the time that I made this video, the drive was going for about $50 on Amazon, which I think is a decent price considering the overall good performance and the 5-year warranty. This drive is a good contender in my opinion for budget builds or inexpensive upgrades to regular PCs or even laptops. So if you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll leave a link in the description below. Definitely head down there and check that out. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and smash that like button for the algorithm. If you want to see more component testing like this, PC and home lab builds, as well as the occasional GPU benchmark, get subscribed to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. Until next time, keep on gaming.